Well, I'm back, barely. I have been waiting to make another video to to share a personal share of, I guess, a new level of deepening. I've been waiting until I wasn't exhausted, but I don't think that's going to happen. I have never been so exhausted for so long in my entire life. Um, I'm I don't know the origin of this I can't even say exhaustion. I can only guess it's has something to do with new level of integration process and maybe something to do with some other work that I'm doing, but still, I can barely keep my eyes open. It's like I want to just constantly go to sleep. So I will struggle through this video. Um, this is really a personal share, and really, I need to document um, the experience of what's been happening, because my memory is like I don't have a memory anymore. So this is really just to memorialize this new awakening something experience. So that's what this video is, a personal share of what I've experienced, what appears to be a new shift in consciousness. And it appears to be something known as no self. My current state, besides the exhaustion, is I'm in a no, I don't know zone. I simply don't know what's going on with me. And I feel completely, excuse me, I'm gonna get choked up, disoriented. I feel like some parts of me feel great, and then other parts of me are so disoriented, I don't know where I'm at. And I feel like it's like being totally asleep again. Yet I'm not, but it feels like I am. So um, this is a very weird integration. And I'm bumping up against this new level of consciousness or perception is in a zone that I knew nothing about. So I have no knowledge, no intellectual understanding. So I suppose that's really kind of pissing my ego off, whatever's left of it. Okay, so let's, I guess, where do I start? Start at the beginning. No. So in my other video where I talked about, I think in December, that level of awakening into crashing into unity consciousness. So that was all great. Lots of phenomena, and then lots of stuff that came up to be integrated back into unifying those hurts and emotions, and that worked brilliantly. But something was not complete, and I felt it, but I didn't know what. And I kept having, and still do, had this experience or perception, just keeps kind of rolling in like a roller coaster. One minute I'm just kind of normal perception, here I am in this life, and then all of a sudden I would feel like I'm here and everywhere. Sort of like I was telling my friend that it's like I'm feeling myself in the dollhouse, being like this miniature person, and everything around me is more real than it seemed to be before, and at the same time more unreal, like it was a toy, like everything, including myself, was a miniature inside this dollhouse or diorama or video game, while at the same time I was the person outside of the dollhouse, like seeing everything. Like I feel the entire and see the entire planet, and then myself at the same time. And like my arm could just come in and pick me up or pick everything up. And I kept thinking to myself, God, this doesn't feel like unity consciousness. This feels beyond unity consciousness. And I kind of said that silently to myself because I thought, I don't know what is beyond unity consciousness. I don't understand. And I kind of felt like blasphemous for saying something like that. Anyway, well, now I understand. But it's such an interesting feeling. And I don't know if it's, I think it might be, see, I'm bumping into, I don't know, I don't have any understanding zone. But I think that feeling might be akin to Brahman consciousness, kind of where you see your everything. I don't know. I've mentioned that term before, and I mentioned it without having any idea what it meant, what I was saying. And I did Google that just one time, and there's very little, and it seems like people have different opinions about what all these levels of consciousness mean. So who knows what it is. Okay, so unity, blah, 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 having this feeling like feels different than unity consciousness. I don't know what it is. So I want to tell you about an experience that kind of led up to a new shifting into what appears to be no self. That's not my term. That is the term that the universe let me stumble upon a video that describes exactly what I'm going through. After I described it to my friends, and then I stumbled upon this video. So I had already made all these statements, and the video just confirmed it. So, but anyway, leading up to this, I know I'm not making sense. I'm so tired. Please bear with me. So I was in this group, Gene Keys study group, and those of you who are familiar with the Gene Keys, it was my turn in this study group to study the 12th gene key. Now, the 12th gene key is all about, it's the shadow of vanity, and the city, or the illuminated version of vanity, is purity. And it was my week to study deeply into purity. And one night, I just felt this urge, this impulse to come over here, sit on this stool right here, and just deeply contemplate, what is this ego vanity shadow? And let me go back. Each of the gene keys, if you don't already know, are connected to codon rings of DNA in the body. And they all have different names. Well, the 12th gene key is part of the codon group known as the Ring of Trials, but the 12th gene key is special. It has its own codon ring, the Ring of Secrets, and it's the only one in there. So in this contemplation, I wanted to know, what is this ego vanity and what is this secret? And I just had this impulse to sit. And as I'm contemplating, sort of half meditation, half not thinking, I was feeling, it was as if my aura was vibrating, and if I was feeling the sound of like a tornado coming or a freight train coming, and it was like, oh, vibrating. And I was thinking, what is this ego vanity? What are you trying to tell me, ego? What is it about the ego that I'm missing? What is the secret? And it hit me. And this whole contemplation meditation thing lasted for about 2 hours. I was here in the living room, then I had to take it into the bedroom. So I was kind of getting tired. And it just kept hitting me, the same aha, it hit me and it hit me and it hit me. And it was like the vibration of this aha or realization was coming more and more into my field. So I had to hear it over and over again. And here's excuse me, I need a drink of water. The secret that was revealed to me, or one of the secrets about the ego, is that the ego has, what is the word? Has guaranteed its survival by putting in the concept within its own structure. I don't know if I'm saying this right, that you need to kill the ego or fight the ego, right? I mean, that's what the whole freaking spiritual journey is about. Dissolve the ego, gotta, deconstruct the ego. And that concept embedded within the ego itself guarantees its survival. And I saw it because what you resist persists. And I'm getting chills as I'm saying this now, so I know it's getting full body chills. You cannot be in unity or any level of consciousness beyond unity as long as you are still fighting the ego. You can't have unification if you still have a thing out there that you're fighting against, and it's going to persist. And the moment that I saw this brilliant aspect of the ego, I totally opened up. I don't know what happened. And it was like I saw all of my ego constructs, good and bad, and I totally integrated it in or accepted it and said, aha, I got you now. Come back in. I'm kind of had this feeling of I'm okay being totally me. This may not sound like a huge deal, but it was huge to see the ego, how it was maintaining its survival by pitting yourself against yourself. Anyway, so like I said, I moved into the bedroom. And I was still meditating, but I was getting kind of tired, and something weird really happened. So I was kind of getting this aha revelation, integration, and then out of the blue, now it was still a very wintry night, so I had the heat on. Out of the blue, I felt this cold, like total air conditioning cold, hit my back, and it kind of came around, and then my whole body got freezing cold, and suddenly I was out, totally asleep. And I'm going to put this on pause for a second. Sorry about that silly phone call. The phone was ringing in the background and I couldn't stand it. Anyway, did I leave you in suspense? So yeah, that weird, it kind of felt like like they say a ghost, when a ghost comes by, you get chilled. I'm hoping it wasn't a ghost, but anyway, I don't think it was. It was just this very cold feeling. Now I know that Kundalini does that too. You can have hot energy or cold energy, and I suspect that's what it was. But this freezing cold, my whole body turned cold, and then I like kind of passed out. The next morning, I got up. God, I felt, I can't even tell you how great I felt. Boy, they just keep calling me. I hope you can't hear that in the background. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. How unprofessional of me. Thank goodness this isn't a professional YouTube channel. Anyway, so I got up, and I unbelievable how I felt. And what I said to myself was, something's gone. Something had fallen off of me. That's exactly what it felt like. Something fell off. Something was gone. And I had a meeting with friends that day or the next day, and this is exactly what I told them. I said, something has gone, and I feel more real, like I'm all here. And that's exactly what the Siddhic energy of purity describes in the Gene Keys books. It's not purity as in, oh, holiness, as in sacred, holy, and godly. It means that ego, or a huge chunk of ego, is gone, and that the separate, and now you're pure being consciousness. And that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like my whole body, there was no separation. That it was just pure consciousness, purity, that there was no twisted parts of ego. The veil was gone. You see, they tell you, oh, when you come to the third dimension, the veil comes in. Well, you know what the veil is? It's the ego. Okay, so the ego is the veil, and you have to not dissolve the ego, you have to integrate the ego back into pure consciousness. You have to recognize the ego as you and bring it back into you, and the veil is gone. You end up being pure being, a pure human being, or being human. I don't know. I'm confusing myself. And this is how to think of the ego. It's like a balloon. This is kind of the picture that came into my mind. So you blow up a balloon, you have a balloon, and those people that make the animals. And so you come in and you're pure consciousness. You're this nice round balloon. And then the ego starts forming, and you start creating this animal or this character, right? And you twist over here, and you have the head. But, the balloon is still attached. It's still you, but it's kind of twisted. And you have the head over here, the tail, and the little legs. But all these parts, still part of the whole, and it's still part of you. It's just so twisted. And those areas that are so twisted, it kind of creates a veil between yourself. So the ego is the block. I mean, I guess we all knew that, but now I'm seeing it more clearly. But you can't kill the ego. It has to come back to you. You see, you have to untwist all those knots, stop being the character, Karen, John, Mary, Dave, Bruce, whoever, and come back and be purely human. Or a being. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but do you get it? And so that's what purity, and that's how I felt so pure. And I felt more real. So much. And I felt, here's the crazy thing, I felt so grounded, and that's what happened. I'm going to stop this video and do part 2 of the phenomena afterwards, but I immediately felt totally in my body, so grounded. And I think my base chakra opened up, because before, when I was grounding, like dropping my energetic anchor to kind of ground through the base chakra, it always felt like a long distance to kind of ground. Now, no way. I feel like I'm sitting on the earth constantly, like she's right there. It's amazing. So I think my base chakra opened up. It's freaking me out a little bit. Yeah, and I also felt, I have this weird sensation of being transparent, like you could see right through me, and that's the feeling. The ego has dropped off. Not all of it, of course. There's still a big, like, snarly snaggletooth piece of the ego hanging on, but something's different. It feels like, here's what it feels like. I feel like I have blinders on, blinders in a good way, that there's no construct of the, oh, poor me, suffering me. None of my story exists anymore. Past is gone. I don't even think of any future stuff. In fact, when I woke up that day, it hit me. I go, oh my God, I have no more agendas. I have no more agendas. All these blinders, all I experience is what's happening now, or this day, my current reality. That's all that this ego mind that's left is thinking about. Here's the crazy thing, though, that makes me sound a little nutty. I can't find the thinker. I don't know who's thinking these thoughts. I can't find myself. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now, and I'll talk about more phenomenon later, I think in the next video. I'm also going to, I'm going to link, let's see. Nope, I'll do this in part 2. I'm so tired I can't make a decision. Okay, all for now, part 2 coming up next.